Hey, Warren Eckstein here. You guys have been listening to the Pet Show for almost 45 years. And in all those years, I've been called a lot of things, many positive things. I love you guys, but very rarely is there something negative that comes out. Well, something negative did come out, and I'm at fault. I apologize. Let me explain. I got an email from a listener saying it is the foolish, politically correct nonsense that society has fallen for. You just stepped into some liberal trap. If you're listening last week, you heard me talking about the fact that I was really chastised for misgendering a dog. I called a male dog a female or female, I forget now. But anyway, the lady went absolutely nuts when I called her dog the wrong gender. And it was ridiculous on her part, I thought anyway, but she is what she is. So this letter comes in, and he talked to me how often I would say to a person who called me up on the show, when they say, let's have a mixed breed dog, you have a mutt, a street dog, and I always correct them saying, no, it's a blended breed. And he points out a valid point, whether you call it a mixed breed dog, a blended breed, an American domestic, a generic dog, as I call them sometimes. What's the difference? Besides all my radio shows, the local show in LA and the international show on Radio America, I often get questions from people all around the country, all around the world, as a matter of fact. And very often what happens is I'll correct them. What's a blended breed? And I'm wrong. And I'll tell you why I'm wrong. And he hits the nail on the head. How many people refer to themselves as their dog's owner? How many people refer to themselves as their dog's guardian? How many people refer to their dog as a mixed breeder? The people that call their dog or call themselves the owner, do they love their dogs any less than the person who says blended breed? I'm correcting myself because I've criticized so many people for using those terms. So I apologize here. And maybe I did become a little too politically correct. And I have listeners that are really involved with the humane movement. God bless, I love them and respect them all. But sometimes they get into my head a little bit. Say, you can't use the word owner, it means this. You can't use this. Well, they're wrong. I've been doing this for many years, 45 years on the radio and all the years on Today's Show and Regis and Kathy Lee and Letterman, whatever. And I believe that my listeners that call up and say, listen, I own a golden retriever, or I own a cocker spaniel or a Himalayan cat, love their dogs and cats just as much as the person who called it blended, including myself. So I apologize for that. As long as you take good care of your dog, you love your dog, you adore your cat, I'm no longer going to correct you for the terminology that you use, unless you use terminology that's absolutely ludicrous. It's real important, and I guess it hurt me a little bit. At first I said, the guy's just criticizing me, and maybe he's being overreactive. But I really gave it a lot of thought, and I thought about it over the years. Just until maybe 10 years ago, no one used the word guardian. It was pet ownership. I own a dog, I own a cat. And they love their dogs and they love their cats just as much. So the terminology, the concept that I misgendered a dog, get over it. We have to get over it. In other words, if someone calls up and says, hey, Warren, from now on, I have a dog. He's a mix between a schnauzer and a poodle. We'll call him a schnoodle. If you don't want to use the words blended and you want to use the word mixed breed, I'm not going to correct you anymore. You love your dog just as much as the word blended would say. Yes, I was a little politically correct, maybe a little too woke. And not that I criticize the people that have said, well, you got to use the word blended or you got to use the word guardian versus owner. I understand where you're coming from. But the whole world doesn't think that way. In fact, I don't think the majority of the world thinks that way. I believe the majority of pet guardians right now or pet owners right now believe that they are owners. And I don't think they use the term owners in any derogatory way. It's just something that's been used years and years and years. So if I offend anyone by correcting them for when they said owner or mixed breed dog, I apologize. I realize that you love your dogs just as much. And the terminology is your business as long as you're not degrading or criticizing someone else. So if someone wants to use the word blended like I do, or generic, whatever, or guardian, that's fine with me. But no more criticizing people for using the term mixed breed or American domestic or curbstone setter. I think those words are loving words for most guardians as well, or most pet owners as well. See, guardians, owners, I get confused even myself sometimes. So whatever you want to call yourself, love your dog, take the best care of your cat, hug them, kiss them, feed them, take them to the vet, and what you call yourself is entirely up to you. What do you think? I'm Warren Eckstein.